thing I know about you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Finn Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here for another one. And finally, the Mac Gods delivered, and my Ethernet adapter finally arrived. We are good to go. Oh, baby, oh, baby. So here's the deal, guys. I'm actually not going to be dropping my big board tomorrow. I'm going to drop it on Sunday just because Friday, people finish work. They want to do their own thing. So look for that on Sunday, as you guys get ready for the work week and really on the day of football. So I'll be dropping that on Sunday now. I might do a show tomorrow just in general if some news breaks or whatever. If some news does break, I'll do a show anyways. But I figured, especially as we're getting into like the center and the tackle positions, let's just say this, the audience isn't exactly craving that. So we're going to do the center big board on Sunday. Look for me in the day or in the evening. I'll drop that for y'all. If there's stuff to talk about tomorrow, I'll be live tomorrow. Either way, all right? So that's what the programming note is. And then next week will be our final big board. I'll probably drop that on the following Sunday as well. And that'll be either I'm going to do I want to know in the comments right now, okay, if you've watched this show after it's aired or whether you're watching this show live right now, I want to know in the comments, do you think or do you want the fifth board to be edge or do you want it to be tackle? Because really, right tackle, and clearly they're looking for edge depth right now by bringing in guys like Melvin Ingram, when they brought in Cameron Good for a prospect visit. Edge is clearly something they're looking at. So let me know in the comments right now whether you prefer edge or whether you would prefer tackle to be the fifth and final big board. Edge, tackle, OT, edge, tackle, OT. So tackle is losing. Sorry, tackle's winning right now. Right tackle. Yeah, tackle. Okay, so it seems like tackle. So I'm not going to do just based on like where we pick. As usual, I'm going to give y'all guys edge, tackle. It's pretty much looks like tackle all day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my top 15 tackles and, we'll see the guys that fall in there at right tackle, left tackle, because there's guys that can play both. We brought in someone yesterday that I want to talk about who's going to be on my center big board who also plays tackle. So tackle. Clearly, tackle is going hard right now. Okay, so I'll do a tackle big board then. That'll be the final big board. And that'll come. I'll drop center this Sunday, tackle next Sunday. And throughout the week, I'll still give you the usual slate of shows, 4 to 5 shows through the week to get you through the week as well. All right. So, guys, the fish tank interview dropped. I want to talk about that with you. I'm going to go over it with you guys. So we'll go over the fish tank interview. Guys, I got a really good article you're going to want to stick around for, though. Right after the fish tank, it's going to segue into that. Analytics. Okay, Football Outsiders did a whole analytical breakdown on Tua Tagovailoa, and what's glaring is the analytics tell you protection and weapons, lack thereof on both accounts, how much it affected Tua Tagovailoa. Like literally the analytics even are pointing to, yeah, it was a problem. Like passing analytics are when you break them down and you put them together. And I'm going to show all y'all that. So we're going to see why I'm so confident. And I just saw this article today. So now you're going to see why I'm so confident just by watching the film that he can go to top 12 play. When you read this article, you're like, Jesus H Christ. It's going to show y'all. It's literally passing and RPO analytics point to a deficiency of playmakers and protection. That's literally what it shows. We'll go over that. I really want y'all to see that. I think it's real interesting. It's really interesting when you actually look at it. So I'm going to break that down for y'all. We'll go over that. I want to talk about what Mike Gesicki and also what Austin Jackson had to say yesterday. I keep telling y'all, you get used to it. PFF ranked the 25 best wide receivers from the 2021 NFL regular season. Waddle made the list. Let's look into where he made it. Obviously, I also want to go over a couple meetings the Dolphins have had in terms of with players. So I want to break that down. But yeah, we got quite a bit to go over here. I appreciate all of you spending some of your Thursday night for me wherever you are right now, coming from the oasis that is the Finside, the NFL headquarters over here. Also, update on that. You know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm waiting on a couple things, but the brand change, it's ready, baby. We got a couple little minor tweaks I'm waiting on, but I'm updating the intro video. Obviously there's going to be YouTube, the banner, avatar, all that stuff's going to be updated. What you see right now, the live set is going to be updated. So I'm just waiting on a couple little tweaks for graphics, and then I'm good to go and launch whenever the hell I want. So yeah, I'm thinking either I'm hoping to have it launched by draft night, maybe. Maybe draft night we launch it, or May 1st, one of the two. But I am planning to go to Florida at the beginning of May, so we'll see how that works out. But that rebrand, that's coming for y'all. That is on its way. I'm really excited to share it with y'all. It's gonna look, always setting trends, never following them, baby. That's all we do over here on Inside the NFL. And again, it's time to set another one, I think. So we're gonna drop that for y'all. It's gonna be a whole new look. So hey man, come along for the ride. Y'all are gonna like it, man. I'm telling y'all are gonna like it. Um, hold on a sec here. Let's get this rolling. Um, I'm gonna start off. We're gonna start off with the fish tank stuff. And we're gonna start off with the fish tank. Then we're gonna go into a couple other things here. All right. So we got enough to go over right now. Let me just get it all lined up properly here. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go over this stuff, and then we're gonna go over the fish tank interview, and then we're gonna get into a bunch of news and notes regarding the Dolphins. Keep y'all posted, keep y'all updated on the latest. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. Y'all been doing a fantastic job of it lately. We are steadily climbing towards 8,000. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get there. Let's get to 8. I want to get to 10 by the beginning of the season. So I'm gonna tell you something, man. You best believe when I get down to perform for some of those sessions, we're gonna be going live for all of y'all. So let's get into, I think we'll start off with the fish tank. Then I want to get into the analytics article and see exactly what you're talking about. What up, Mutex? Oh, you guys are clown. Oh my god. You killing me. Topher says the Dolphins have the 4th most cap in the NFL right now. Yeah, I know. The only thing I would say is look into their cap situation next year. There's a real possibility they are looking to roll over. Mike says, happy birthday from New Zealand, Finn's family. It's happy Easter. It's Friday morning here. Happy Easter to you. And shout out to the one of the mods here in the homie Tilly. Diane Tagovailoa, to his mother, hit her up and is actually going to wants to whenever she comes out of Miami for a game, wants her to share in the game with the rest of the Tagovailoa family. So shout out to Tilly, man. There's not many more deserving people out there that support Tua the way she does. So that's huge, huge, huge stuff, man. Shout out to Tilly for always supporting Tua Tagovailoa. And hey, man, she deserves it. So shout out to Tilly, one of the mods here. Love it, man. Love it. Let's get into the fish tank stuff here. I want to show you guys what they that whole interview here. So let's bring that up for y'all. And let's take a look at this. It's about 25 minutes long. Let's rip it.
Tank right here on the Miami Dolphins Podcast Network. Seth Levitt, DJ Preach is in the back, and the toughest podcaster Dan Marino has ever played with, my man, OJ McDuffie Juice.
Man, you always go to that. I like that, man. What's good, man?
I mean, how can you ever go wrong
right,
if you
man.
reference a Dan Marino quote?
I will take it all day, every day, right? You know, I'm always feeling good when we're talking about my side of football.
It is your side of the football.
My side of football all day, every day.
But it's where the play starts.
Right.
QB1, Tua Tagovailoa, welcome to the Fish Tank.
Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, Rhonda.
Welcome, man. Hey, I'm going to tell you this, Big Seth, man. You know, we got a lot to get to with Tua.
Yeah.
Right?
In a short period of time.
In a short period of time. But I'm still riding the wave of his event this past weekend.
Man, it was a great event.
I'm going to tell you what, man. How much fun did we have at Tua's Luau, you know, for the Tua Foundation this past weekend?
I had a blast.
I had a great time. But I'm going to tell you what. I want to know this, Tua. How did you get Coach up on stage, man? How the heck did you get him up there? He killed it up there, man. It was like, I mean, that was like, I've been around the league for a long time. I just have never seen a head man get up there and support one of his great teammates or one of his great players the way he did, man. How'd you get Coach up there?
I guess it's a testament to his personality. All he did was have the guys go out into the crowd and try to pick whoever wanted to come up. Obviously, we wanted Coach to be up there. If he declined, we weren't going to force the issue, but Coach wanted to go up there, and I mean, I thought that was the coolest thing.
Flo would never
seen that before as well, so that was super.
Right,
cool.
you went to Alabama. Would Nick get up there? Nick would
No, Nick
Flo would never.
Nick wouldn't look at the guy and just be like, no.
No, that's cool, man. That's good stuff, man. The only thing I was worried about, though, was, you had workouts the next day. So, I mean, because you had Coach up there, he didn't make you guys do any extra 110s or gases or anything after that, did he?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right.
That's of course. Just from getting to know Coach
I want
as a
this
person,
team.
getting to hang
I
out
want
with
this
him
team
and
to
have
do
some
the haka
conversations
and
with
all
him.
this warrior stuff
He is
before
who
they
he
go on the
is.
field.
That's just who he is out there. That's the same person he is when it's just me and him talking. And
Love it.
I find that pretty unique.
Told y'all
you know,
McDaniel
where-
was the truth.
Whereas,
Told y'all.
you get brought into this world where you need to be politically correct when the media is talking to you, and then when you're,
Flores.
just with the guys, you talk a different way. And
Flores.
you have two voices sometimes, with your professional voice and then obviously your voice within the building. So the cool thing is that Coach McDaniel is the same all the time.
That's what's up.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's great. And it kind of leads me into my next question. You talk about conversations at the two.
Now y'all know why I hated these Gase, these Cameron, these Philbin, these lazy ass comparisons people made to my coach. Don't think I don't forget Dolphin fans were out here making those lazy comparisons. Now they'd be the same ones loving up on him. Just like the same people that were hating on Tua. Now they see McDaniel and the effect he could have. Some of them are loving up on Tua now because of the effect of McDaniel. Stop.
You've had, the whole world saw this first conversation, right? He's on the plane, he's heading in here to be the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and he picks up the phone, and we see that Tua's on the other end of the phone. And in that 90 seconds of video, which got everybody excited, we really only heard
Let's
one
go.
side
Check
of that
your pulse,
conversation.
baby.
We didn't hear everything. And so tell us a little bit about, like, how were you reacting? Did you know that he was going to call? Were you just sitting there and the phone rings and, oh, wow, it's Coach? Or did you even know it was being filmed? And how did that conversation go? And how has it kind of materialized into where you guys are at now?
Yeah, so I never knew that it was being filmed once, or for one. And then I guess second, we were supposed to have a FaceTime call earlier that day. But
Mike
Coach got caught up
He was a little busy.
in some things, and I was
This
golfing
guy.
too, so it kind of worked out.
Right.
When I was done golfing,
Pause.
he said, let me know when you're done. So I let him know, and then he told me like, hey, could we set this time? Because I'm gonna be on a plane coming to Miami.
Right.
And so he said he'd call me on the plane. And I was thinking, dang, what kind of plane is this?
Right.
Huh? The Wi-Fi must be strong.
I think it's probably pretty good. That's a safe bet.
Yeah, so FaceTimed on the plane, got to talk to him. I was telling him how excited I am. And that was really the first, interaction that I got with Coach, aside from texting. I thought he was a pretty unique personality when I first heard him speak and talk, because that's not one that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially,
I think for all of us, yeah.
especially, him being the head man. He's so optimistic, he's so positive. But
Let's go.
Kind of getting those glimpses of our conversation of who he is as a person.
Yeah.
And then, just not even really talking football for the most part. I guess towards, or whatever was shown, it was obviously, get excited
Right.
about the season.
Sure.
But man, he's such a person that you can relate to in a lot of things.
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, he makes it comfortable for you to share too. So
Great.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that is cool, man.
Let's
Not only do
go.
you have a new head man, though, but, it seems like you got a whole new offensive staff in general,
Yeah.
And I was looking at this and then
Watch
several
what OJ
talking about
says.
it, but it seems like you've had 6 different offensive coordinators in the last 6 years.
Crazy.
How the hell are you able to maneuver around that, man? How are you able to be the best you can be in all those situations, and how challenging has that been, first and foremost?
Yeah, it's been challenging, but
He acknowledges it's
I
been
think-
challenging.
I think, it's football. At the end of the day, it's football. Everyone has their own terminology of what they call a post, what they call a corner.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, you find out what that
That's why we always talk about the
is.
terminology
You
is what you got to pick up.
get whatever it was prior out of your head, and you just try to master what the verbiage is in that system. And really, that's all you can do. You just got to do the best that you can, and a lot of reps.
Yeah.
A lot of reps.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
And that's our job too, right? I mean, we sit there and look at a lot of film and we're studying a lot. People don't understand a lot of times we're in that classroom or in those books more than we're out there on the football field.
Yeah, no doubt. You're definitely spending more time watching film, getting with different groups of positions to talk and break down some things. Practice is really just implementing what we just seen and what we just talked about in the classroom out there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then you're literally right back into the classroom watching all of that and correcting, all of those things. So definitely right. You're spending more time, talking to each other in the classroom than you are out there working.
Yeah. And not only do you have the interaction with Coach McDaniel, but Frank Smith, new OC, Daryl Bevell, how's that interaction been with those guys as well? We're talking about new guys on the offensive staff.
Yeah.
I think Coach McDaniel's has done a great job, not just with his staff, but with everyone that surrounds our organizations, with the new players that we've got as well, with the guys that we've kept, the guys that, like I said, acquired.
We're going to talk about that for sure.
Yeah, everyone in this building, everyone's optimistic, but everyone has, a high amount of character, I would say, within the building. And I think that says a lot about, Coach McDaniel. It says a lot about Chris Greer with, the communication between Coach and Chris. But yeah, I mean, it's an environment where, guys want to come into work and guys are excited to come into work, to be able to work with one another and to be able to work, with Coach.
So, and not to harp on this, but go back to the 6 OCs in 6 years, and obviously a lot of that was before you even were a professional football player. But I wonder if, I don't know what your vision was for what your pro career
It's
would
3
look
and
like
3,
when
but
you started
okay.
to focus on those things. But
All right.
But I wonder if maybe it's gone a little differently than what you had drawn up prior to getting in Miami and becoming a pro. And look, that's the way life is, right? We don't control all of those things. But there seems to be at times some noise that kind of surrounds you in some way, shape, or form. How do you manage that? Is that something that you carry with you? Do you walk into this season carrying that noise, or do you feel like, you know what, it's a new year, it's a fresh start, it's a clean slate, and let's go do what we got to do?
Yeah,
You've been around the noise since
my
high
entire
school.
life.
Man.
I would say there's been noise, and not specifically media,
right?
But for me, the noise has been, my dad.
I love it.
And really, that's what it is. And what I mean by that is, my dad.
But guys, basically what he's going to politely tell everyone is, I don't care what the media or anyone says. I care about what my dad says, because I trust his criticism, because I myself am my biggest critic, and he's the same way. That's basically what he's going to try and politely explain here. He's such a class act, but he's basically going to politely explain, I don't give a shit what the media says. I don't care what anyone says, except I'm here to please my father, my family, etc. So, and it's a great answer.
Is my biggest critic, aside from me. And my dad is going to shoot it straight. If that was the worst thing ever, that was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of my other family members would tell me, like, you're the best.
Right.
Like, there's no one better than you, this and that,
And we all know that's true. There's always family members out there that they don't know the sport well, or they've never tried to achieve a level of greatness. So when they see greatness out of you, they think that's enough. When you're trying to be one of the greats, you got to work to be greater every day of your life. You know what I mean? People see the product and like, oh, you're amazing, you're great. But he's sitting here saying, man, when you want to be one of the greats, that's where Galu's coming from. When you want to be one of the greats, you got to work to be great every day of your life. So someone telling you you're great on Wednesday don't matter, because it's about being great on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, etc. Love it.
My dad would tell me, that's just not good enough.
Yep.
It's never good enough.
I get it.
And that's kind of how it was growing up. And when I came into Alabama and then, ended up coming into the national championship game and we won, I always remember my dad telling me, act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know we've all heard that.
Sure.
Act like you've been there before.
Easy to
So
say.
cliche.
Of course,
So
right, of
cliche.
course.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you can recall, but when we did win,
Appreciate you, Jamie.
I think I was probably the only one not celebrating as much as I probably should have, because I had that running in my head, like,
Dad
act
was
like
in
you've
your
been
ear.
here before. So, like, fine, everyone just, hey, good game, good job.
Yep.
And, like, just wait to talk to the media.
Wow.
But I was dying inside. I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to celebrate. But yeah, I
Be a professional.
I was like, man, that's super exciting. And so, just coming back to your question with the media and all of the outside noise, shoot, it's one of those things where I fall back to act like I've been here before. So
Yep.
obviously this is new territory
that.
for me, because at Alabama, their fans are all, always uplifting and whatnot. But within the NFL, it's not just our fans that we have trying to support us, but it's just everyone else outside watching, other teams' fans. So act like you've been there before.
It's really easy to see why Galu and Flores might not have got along. Galu, I said this to someone earlier today, Galu is an alpha. He's a bigger alpha than Brian Flores. And he's the type, he doesn't have to walk in the room and announce he's the alpha. Where Flores is the type, he got to walk in the room and everyone got to know he's the alpha. And the way Galu carries himself, it's about humble, being a hard worker, and being great every day and being better every day. Flores, you could tell it's all ego. You know what I mean? My way or the highway. Be great, but the way I want you to be great, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you can really tell why they clashed. Already when you get two alphas in the same room, usually you get a clash. But when you have the proper alpha in Gallu and the egocentric alpha in Flores, it's easy to see why. You know, it's 110% easy to see why. And the person whom I spoke with today made the great point that, like, because he lives in Hawaii, the person I spoke to today, and he said, McDaniel holding, one of the children there, I think it was Galu's grandchildren, something you see in the clip, he's like, that's going to go a long way. It's just, you can already tell, getting up there and doing the dancing, doing the drums, he's earning the respect of Tua and his family, and I've always been like this, and this is what I gotta say, here's my problem with, like, when you're working or whatever the case may be, I always had a problem with people who automatically demand respect. I've always had an issue with that, whether it's, a supervisor, a manager, or whatever like that, or just a person in general. And I'll tell you the reason why. It has nothing to do with authority. I'm a very firm believer that, just like love, respect is earned. And I just don't sit here and hand it out like it's free candy on Halloween. You know what I mean? And Flores, you could tell, was the type of, you walk in the room, you better show me respect, boy. And I could understand why people clash with that, because I'm not that type. Respect, just like love, for me, is very much earned. I don't care who you are. It's just like, because we've all had a manager, supervisors, or people would come around who demand respect, but you can't respect them because, they're an idiot. It happens. It's life. And, that's why I just don't hand out respect, right? Respect is earned, but until that respect is earned, if you treat me with respect, it will be reciprocated, right? Until it is fully earned. That's basically how so I get how this is rolling right now. You know what I mean? And you hear how Tua talks, and you can see why the clashing happened.
I love it.
That's how you handle it.
Yeah. Speaking of noise, man, this team has made so much noise this offseason. Some serious,
It's the right kind of noise.
offensive noise.
Andy
what I
Jackson,
love, you know what I mean?
Andy
I like
Jackson
that
might
as
have
well.
the point of the night.
So tell me what was going through your mind when you're like, say you're in your backyard, hitting some golf balls into the lake, and your phone starts buzzing, and your phone is buzzing, and you look up, and we got Chase Edmonds. Mm-hmm. And then, it's buzzing again, and we look up and we got Cedric Wilson. Raheem Mostert, and then so on and so forth, man. We signed Gesicki back. Mm-hmm. It just kept going and going, man. And then, you got Teron Armstead, and then, of course, we get Tyreek Hill. What was your reaction when all this great action was happening around you, especially on our side of the football?
Our side of the football.
Yeah,
our side of the
He's
football.
ready to go in a huddle with you right now. It sounds like to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the only word that can describe that is exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting times for all of us.
Let's go.
We know that aside from the guys that we've acquired, it's gonna take work for all of us. And it's gonna take work. We're gonna have to continue to build relationships with each other, not only on the field, but off the field. Mm-hmm. And we gotta do the most important thing as to why we're here, and that's win games.
That's right.
So, and
I
when
love
I hear
OJ
you say
Juice.
that, and I
Joe.
guess in some ways you may have just
I love
answered this
Juice.
question.
He's the
But
real juice.
With all that excitement, of course, the noise, there's the counter narrative like, well, okay, now, look at all these weapons. Tua has to go off. Like, of course he's going to go off here. Does that add a layer of pressure? Do you feel that as pressure, or do you look at that as like, yo, this is opportunity? Like, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
Yeah, I think pressure is everywhere, especially in our industry,
Sure.
Or any professional industry. Pressure's just there. But, it's one of those things where you're either going to make use of this opportunity, with the guys that we have, or you're not. And that's what it is. And so for me, I'm looking forward to making use of this opportunity.
Let's go.
The quarterback position, to be the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, like that's a pretty cool gig. That's it. So what if, you know, in the few years that you've been holding that position, what's the best part of being the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins?
It's a lot easier to make friends.
You didn't have trouble making friends. Come on, Tua.
It's a lot easier making
Just
friends.
bust out the ukulele,
no,
Tua. You're
but
making friends everywhere.
I would say probably one of the best parts about being the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
I don't know Rome Gray, but all I thought
being able
was
to help,
Tony Montana.
you know,
when he said
others that, you know, when they say they kind of need your help, you know, you're
He's
able
gonna pull out
to do
Tyreek
so
and
for them
say hello to
in,
my little friend.
in ways that I guess others can't. Meaning, you know, you're able to call people and ask them, you know, if you can if they can do a favor for you, and
Got a little circle
you know,
of influence there.
Yeah, and you can help others through that.
When I think of quarterback, man, you know, I think of leadership.
Those
you know?
jerseys are so short.
Leader of the offense, you know, leader of the team, pretty much leader of the organization.
This is a
man.
good question.
What
Ask
does
him about leadership.
mean to Tua? What does
Stop,
that mean?
Pyro. I will ban you.
I think leadership to me means helping the guys around you get better.
Pyro, I'll ban you.
And whatever that entails.
Jeremiah,
whether
I'm
it's
glad
spending
you're a
time
member
with
and
one
modded. You are
individual
correct.
guy or spending time with, you know, everyone together
Mm-hmm.
inside the building or outside the building. But however you're doing that to help, you know, grow with the guys around you, I think that's what leadership means.
And two is the type that leads
I'm
by
buying in
example.
for sure.
You ready to go?
I'm buying in, definitely buying in on
Good
that
stuff.
one, man.
Well, we're talking about a lot, obviously, about the quarterback position and leadership. There's a guy that you have gotten to know who knows a thing or two.
One of the best
about being a
quotes of this whole
quarterback here, and
episode
that's
is
Dan
right
Marino.
here.
As Drew said, you know, we loved being at the event. But I thought one of the real magical things, first of all, we all saw the video of your reaction, right? You're doing media and Dan comes along, hey, that's Dan Marino, which was fabulous. But what I really loved was the story you told when you were up on stage and you talked about how you got
Get him,
there,
Austin.
your
Get
first
him.
year and Dan's sitting in meetings and you're like, oh, is this a normal thing?
Yeah.
Which, you know, you came to find out that there's nothing normal about
Yeah.
that. But what has that relationship been like? How meaningful has it been for you to step into this position and have that guy?
Jason, you
there
forgot to add the two pulled
and I don't
hammies.
know what that relationship is, but as a sounding board or somebody just to pick his brain, what does that mean?
It's extremely meaningful, and it means a lot because for someone like Dan to be sitting in our meetings, and this is from my rookie season and my rookie year when I first got here, you know, it tells you a lot about, you know, I guess Dan as a person as well, because Dan knows who he is. I mean,
It's
come
one
on,
of the best quotes in
he
this.
You
definitely
got
does.
Dan
It's
Marino
coming up right
Boulevard
now.
or whatever that thing is. You know,
There's a statue when he comes into work.
I mean, you know, Dan knows who he is, and so for him to just, you know, sit down in our meetings, you know, kind of stop the tape and kind of tell us what his experiences were, you know, with this guy, you know, and a couple of the other guys that
One of my
that
favorite
he's
quotes
had.
right here.
You know, he shares those things, and success leaves footprints. You know,
I love
and
it. Let's go.
regardless of how much the game has changed, it's still football at the end of the day.
Success leaves footprints, and guess what? The Miami Dolphins are about to leave a bunch of shoe indentations all over the Tua haters and their opponents this year. Let's go get it, baby.
And so, you know, for Dan to be able to help us, not just me, but all the guys in the room, learn and grow, I think it's
Let's
amazing.
go.
Yeah, it really
Let's
is, man.
go.
And, I'm glad he talks about me still a little bit. You know what I mean? Brings
It
my
says
name
good
up on
things,
occasion,
right?
you
Yeah,
know?
it is.
Yeah, good stuff. You talked a little bit about your dad earlier, man, and I know for a fact how important family is to you. You know, I saw it at the luau, you know, and we've all seen it just reading up and doing stuff with you, man. I just love it. I think family is the most important thing, you know, especially in good times, bad, no matter what. You know, you always have your family to lean on, man. Talk a little bit about, you know, how and why you guys are such a close-knit family. You know, I know you guys love music. You guys do a lot of things together, man. Talk about, you know, that family bond that you're so proud of, but you know, I think it's probably one of the most important things in your life.
Really, I just grew up that way. I grew up seeing my dad around all his siblings a lot of the times, and I grew up with a lot of my first cousins. I seen my mom with her family. My mom has 8 brothers and 1 sister, and my mom is the oldest out of them. So there's 10. And then my dad has 6 sisters, 2 brothers. So we come from a big family, and it's kind of hard not to, I guess, be a family guy with that many people.
Yeah.
So many cousins. But it's just something that I grew up with, that I just seen. And when I'd have fights with my little brother growing up, we'd have our talks with our dad. Our dad would sit us down and tell us that we're all we got, and one day you guys are going to realize what I'm saying. And now that we're older, it's, I don't know, all those moments of fighting, all those moments of the talks that we've had with our dad, has really grown us.
When did that click
get
to it? When he
closer.
says one day, and and it's what I'm hearing from you now that you're older, you do realize that. But when did that click? When was that shift from 2 brothers just fighting like brothers do to, wow, all these things that Dad said are coming to fruition?
Yeah, I would say when I left to college. When I left to college, and
I did,
I was
George.
by myself in Alabama, and I had no one else. I had no one else up there. And so, my dad wanted to move to Alabama to be closer to me. My brother wanted to come up there as well. And then when they were able to move out and come up to Alabama, just being able to see my brother, see my sisters, and see my family again, you really take those things for granted. It's I don't know, it's crazy how like you get so excited. You're like, man, I'm excited to see what's new, that I've never seen. And then you realize like, none of this really matters without, the people that
foundation.
Yeah, without the people, that kind of helped you get to where you're at. So
Let's go.
And your love for music, real quick. You know what I mean? I see you strumming the guitar. I think we had Raekwon on talking about you and a ukulele, maybe.
Yeah, he's
so what
serenading
about
you, right?
Yeah, what about your love for music?
Yeah, I love music. Grew up with music. All of us grew up in choir in church, but
This man was out here. He's got lungs
can
of an
play
angel. Let's
some
go.
Piano. I can play the guitar. I can play
Let's
the
go.
ukulele, I can play the bass. But the terrible thing about it is I don't know.
Andy's a
Like
natural.
I don't know
Listen,
music. Like I don't know
You
like
can't read music.
Like
Reading
modern
it,
music?
reading it.
Or
I can't read
you
music.
can't read
I
music.
can't.
So you just play.
Yeah, just play by ear. So
That's talent.
Mhm.
That's
Atta
talent.
boy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound terrible to me.
No,
Let's
right.
Could
go.
you play an instrument?
He's
No,
a
not
savant,
anymore.
baby.
No, not anymore.
Not at all. I
We got
get-
Mozart
I
at quarterback.
think I get it from my mom's side though, because my mom plays the piano, and all my mom's brothers are musically inclined.
So self-taught, like the
Yeah, self-taught.
Wow.
And my
Let's go.
yeah, my dad is the only one. Sorry, Dad. My dad's the only one that doesn't know how to play an instrument.
Act like you've been there,
in our family. So my mom, my sisters, my little brother, and me, we play instruments.
Very
Let's
cool.
go.
Very cool. We may need to get with Tua. I mean, I love our theme song, the
Right.
Solo D theme song,
Right.
but we might have to talk to Tua
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
coming up with a little,
Little remix.
A little remix.
There
We'll
you
have to get with you on that. So I know your time is limited here as you're preparing for the season, but the last question I have is kind of where we started was, we raved about the Luau event and how special it was. And the Hard Rock is such an amazing partner. I run Jason Taylor's foundation. They've been so supportive of the work that we do, and it was beautiful. But once you get past that kind of veneer
Exactly,
of a pretty
Jeremiah.
event, talk about the work, man. Talk about the foundation and why
How
it's
can
so
you root
important
against
to
this
you
kid, man?
just to create a foundation at such a young stage of your career and to give back. Why is
Y'all
that
are wild
so,
with the comments.
just so ingrained in who you are?
Yeah, it's extremely important to me
Y'all are wild.
because growing up, I've seen
Comment.
that too from my family. I've seen my parents give back, and it's not just giving back to the community that I've seen. It's giving back to help out, with funds for, their parents, giving back to their siblings, who their kids needed, some help with things. And
What a
for
good human
me,
being.
I always told myself, if I'm able to do something to help, give back, I wanted to do it. And I'm obviously very fortunate to be able to help give back to the places that have helped me get to where I'm at, and that's Hawaii, Alabama, and now here in South Florida, Miami.
Well, I imagine there's going to be some great things to come. It was said OJ and I spent a lot of time doing community work, and so it was. First of all, it was nice to be in an event that we didn't have to run.
Right.
So appreciate you doing all that work.
Loved it.
But it really was special. So hopefully we can continue to see the things that you do.
Thank you, guys.
Great stuff. Well, excitement was, I think, the theme of this interview.
Absolutely.
We were excited to have you in here, and I love to hear how excited you are for this season. And we can't wait to just see it materialize. And hopefully you are now excited to have made your appearance in the fish tank.
That's right.
There it is. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Thanks for diving into it.
Thank you, guys.
Listen, first of all, someone get Pyro a DVP Patriots jersey, number one. Secondly, I mean, how can you root against this kid? I wish him nothing but all the success, especially as a Dolphin player. I mean, that's another reason how can you root against a kid, because if he has all the success in the world, we win. So, I mean, every time this kid talks, does something in the community, whatever, how can you just not love him more and more, man? So, like I said, I'm pretty confident he's going to take that top 12 leap this year with the personnel and the staff around him. I think you're going to see the best Tua, the best version of Tua we've seen so far. I truly believe that. And I do believe in this kid's ceiling long term, especially under the staff. I know he got 2 years under Flores, and you kind of feel like those 2 years were a wash, and you're hoping he does enough in year one so we can get a second year under Flores and in the system, because, the sky's going to be the limit for this kid, I think, in the system and under the staff. If that defense holds tight, this team is going to be very scary potentially this year. Shout out to the Watch Mr. 499 donation. It says almost Friday, y'all. Cheers. Yes, sir. It is almost Friday. Yay, Friday. So, man, I just, you look at how everything's lining up. I know it's not often first-year coaches take a team that's been out of the playoffs for how long to the playoffs, but you got a feeling. You got a feeling with this offense, the defense intact, how everything's coming together, man. An article I wanted to show all of y'all, very interesting article. I wanted to go over with all of y'all. Is let me pull it up for y'all. It's how the analytics show everything here. We're gonna go over this. I want you guys to see this. I'm gonna read it to y'all. So let's bring this up. Shout out to Tunon for making the top here, but it's called Tua Tagovailoa's Tale of the Tape. Right? So we go past that. Let's get into this. So Tagovailoa finished 18th in both DVOA and DYAR last season. Not at all bad for a second year quarterback. It said the Miami Dolphins passing game earned a DVOA rating over 20% in 4 of the 7 games after Tua returned from his midseason kind of sort of quasi-injury benching, a sign that Tua may be turning a corner. And just so everyone knows, when we're talking about DVOA, it's a method of evaluating teams, units, or players. It basically takes in every single play during the NFL season and compares each one to a league average baseline based on situation. So DVOA measures not just yardage, but yardage towards a first down. 5 yards on 3rd and 4 are worth more than 5 yards on 1st and 10, et cetera, et cetera. So DVOA basically measures a team's efficiency by comparing success on every single play to a league average based on situation and opponent. So that's what DVOA is, for you guys wondering, what the hell is DVOA? So sure to appear to be propped up by an RPO intensive dink and dunk heavy system in 2021. He also had a knack for crushing interceptions. But this extenuating circumstances were really extenuating. The Dolphins' offensive line finished 30th in adjusted line yards and needed all of the quick passing to rank 19th in adjusted sack rate. The Dolphins' offense ranked 29th in rushing DVOA, leaving them playing behind the sticks while forcing their quick game to supplement the rushing game. What did I keep telling y'all? What did I say all through the season last year? They can't run the football, so 2 in the RPO. That's been our extension of the run game. There you go. Analytics prove it. And while the details of Brian Flores' allegations against the Dolphins in the NFL are beyond the scope of this article, his dueling offensive coordinators and quick hooks hardly made him a quarterback whisperer. Flores has been replaced by the adorable Mike McDaniel, a Kyle Shanahan disciple with a quarterback-friendly personality and scheme. Tyreek Hill and Terron Armstead headline a productive Dolphins offseason, particularly on offense. So are the Tua truthers right, or are they just engaging in typical local fan wish casting about a prospect whose career is listing sideways? Let's see if there's an answer lurking somewhere in the numbers. Any discussion of Tua Tagovailoa's performance of the 2021 Dolphins offense in general must begin with the run-pass option, RPO. The Dolphins used an RPO concept on 13% of their passing plays last season, easily the highest rate in the league. So 13%, I mean, not even 20% of our offensive plays. Tagovailoa himself attempted 77 RPO passes, the 3rd highest total in the NFL, completing 53 for 539 yards. So there you go. He had the 3rd highest attempts. He didn't even have the most RPO attempts in the NFL. As walkthrough discussed in our Matt Corral feature a few weeks ago, the RPO is often used as a crutch for a quarterback who has little idea of what he's doing. But it can also be a tactic for mitigating a horrible offensive line or as a jab for an offense that's perfectly capable of throwing some haymakers. As a result, the top 5 teams in RPOs as a percentage of pass plays in 2021 was a diverse bunch. We'll use adjusted net yards attempt to sense how much successful each team was executing the RPO. So we were second in adjusted net yards per attempt to Buffalo. Obviously, we were number 1 in RPO percentage, but if you look at anyone who was close to us, in the 10% or higher, we were way better than them, right? 1.5 yards more than KC. 1.2 yards more than Green Bay, 3.1 yards more than Pittsburgh, right? So, the Steelers used the RPO to conceal the fact their offensive line was embarrassing and that Ben Roethlisberger was held together with duct tape and rubber bands. As the adjusted net yards per attempt figure above illustrates, no one was fooled. The Packers, Chiefs, and Bills, on the other hand, had pretty good quarterbacks and offenses. They used the RPO as a counterpunch when teams played a lot of 2-deep shells against them. All 3 ranked in the top 10 of rushing attempts from the RPO concept, a sign they were facing reduced boxes. And as a red zone tactic, they used the RPO. So what were the Dolphins doing? Protecting Tagovailoa from his awful offensive line, no doubt. Covering for his relative inexperience at times, but they were also enjoying relative success with the tactic. With a higher average net yards per attempt rate than the Packers, Chiefs, and many other teams that use the RPO frequently, such as the Chargers, Eagles, and Colts. The number suggests that we should not write Tua Tagovailoa off simply because he threw a few more RPO passes than Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Being skilled at making easy reads and delivering accurate quick passes is, after all, a good thing. But those cannot be the only things a young quarterback is good at. What we need to do is take a closer look at what Tua was doing when he wasn't just taking a handoff and flicking a short slant to Wall or Gesicki. Tagovailoa, beyond the valley of RPOs. Let's filter out all the RPOs of Tagovailoa's passing stats and take a look at where he ranked among quarterbacks with at least 100 pass attempts in 2021. Okay, so he was 14th in completion percentage, 31st in yards per attempt, 30th in adjusted net yards per attempt, and 40th in average throw depth. Ew. This is red meat for the Tagovailoa skeptics. Tua tied Roethlisberger and Daniel Jones with that 7.1 yard average throw depth on non-RPOs. He's wedged between Taylor Heineke and Mike White in average net yards, adjusted net yards per attempt, with Taysom Hill just behind him. This is some bad company. The numbers above suggest that even when the Dolphins weren't executing RPOs, their passing game was loaded with RPO-like substances, short, quick, and non-nourishing tosses. There's also lots of evidence to support the fact that Tagovailoa wasn't getting much support from his receivers. Per Pro Football Reference, for example, the Dolphins averaged just 4.3 yards after catch per reception, the third lowest figure in the NFL, ahead of only the Ravens and the Bills. The Dolphins dropped pass rate of 5.7 per Football Reference, ranked 4th in the NFL. In other words, Tua may have been forced to throw short passes to protect his offensive line, only for his receivers to either drop those passes, lowering his completion percentage, or get tackled immediately after the catch, lowering his yards per attempt. If that's indeed what happened, which was happening on tape, we were pointing it out. If that's indeed what happened, Tagovailoa could indeed enjoy a breakout year now that Tyreek Hill and some running backs who can generate yak have joined his arsenal, and Terron Armstead is anchoring his protection. What did I say? His biggest yak threat, Waddle, how many catches was in box coverage, triangle coverage, bracketed with a man over the top to end any yak threat? It happened all the time. But is this really what happened? Let's torture the numbers some more. Tagovailoa pressure principles and stick fingers. Tua Tagovailoa only attempted 96 non-RPO passes when pressured in 2021. On one hand, that's a surprisingly low number, 28th in the NFL, for a young quarterback behind an objectively woeful offensive line. On the other hand, it shouldn't be surprising because the Dolphins' offense twisted itself in knots to avoid pressure, as most of the splits we have cited so far illustrate. Tagovailoa was horrible under pressure. His average net yards attempt of 1 ranked 32nd in the NFL. He threw 7 interceptions under pressure, tied for 2nd in the NFL. All quarterbacks are worse under pressure than from a clean pocket, but Tua's issues were pronounced in a way that's not surprising for a young quarterback, but not encouraging either. Take the pressure and the crutch of the RPO away, and we start to see a slightly different quarterback, though still not a particularly effective one. So when he's not pressured or on RPO, he had the 3rd highest completion percentage at 75%. He's 26th in yards per attempt at 7.2. Average net yards per attempt, he's 7.8. He's 17th. And average throw depth, he's 6.8. He's 32nd. Tagovailoa threw 220 passes in the sample above, so we have not driven off the sample size cliff. Tua still looks like Dinky McDunkerstein, but he's at least an efficient Dinky McDunkerstein who completes 3/4 of his passes and avoids turnovers. If Myles Gaskin eluded a few more tackles, if 3 defenders didn't immediately convene on Jalen Waddle after every quick screen, if holding onto the ball for more than a nanosecond was an option, you get the idea. Let's get all of these dinks and dunks out of the data by focusing on passes beyond the sticks. Let's also focus on passes where Tagovailoa is not pressured. Finally, let's mix in the RPOs back in so we don't granulate the data too finely. Throwing past the sticks naturally filters out some of the RPO flings out of the flat anyways. Here's what we get. He was 27th on completion percentage, 27th on yards per attempt, 20th on adjusted net yards per attempt, and 31st on average throw depth. Sorry that this is not better news, Tagovailoa truthers. That 20th overall finish in adjusted net yards per attempt isn't terrible. It's just below Josh Allen, and it's ahead of Mac Jones and Jalen Hurts. though it's also below Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, and Davis Mills. Only Jimmy Garoppolo ranked below Tua in average throw depth among quarterbacks with 50-plus attempts in the split. Also, Tua's high completion rate evaporates when he's forcing the ball a little further downfield. Overall, the figures above suggest that Tagovailoa was probably a fourth quartile NFL starter in situations when the Dolphins' offensive line was doing its job and his success wasn't dependent on a teammate doing something after the catch. On the bright side, the predictive value of non-pressured passes is sketchy at best. We should probably not trust any split that rates Carson Wentz ahead of Josh Allen. Also, no matter how we sift through the data, Tagovailoa always ranks near the bottom of the NFL in throw depth. Even if Tua Tagovailoa had a noodle arm and his offensive line was historically bad, the Dolphins' reluctance to let her rip once in a while would be a little extreme. Tagovailoa only threw 14 passes of 25-plus air yards last season, a reasonable minimum benchmark for what we would consider a bomb. Garoppolo threw 18 bombs. Drew Lock threw 19 in 6 appearances. Tyler Huntley threw 14 in 4 appearances. Justin Fields, a rookie quarterback behind a bad offensive line, threw 23. Tagovailoa completed 8 of those 14 passes for 328 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick. Those are excellent rates for a tiny sample. We shouldn't hang our hats on 14 pass attempts, but it looks like he could have been a semi-capable deep passer if given a few more opportunities. With Tyreek Hill around, he'll get those opportunities. The Garoppolization of Tua Tagovailoa. To recap, the 2021 Dolphins offense relied heavily on dink and duck tactics, even when they weren't using RPOs as a league-high frequency. Their reliance on short passing was abnormally high, even for a team with bad offensive line and inexperienced quarterback. An inability to generate yak limited the effectiveness of the Dolphins' short passing game and made Tua Tagovailoa's stats and performance look worse than they really were. Whether despite of or because of all these factors, Tua produced nearly a league average DVOA. But then when we try to isolate Tua from the environmental factors, we get a mixed message about his capabilities as a downfield passer. So we're stuck in this sort of circular argument that breeds fan theories and encourages sports talk debate, informed and otherwise. What's certain is that the circumstances around Tagovailoa have improved in every way. The line is better, the playmaking corps is better and deeper, and the coaching staff better pedigreed from an offensive standpoint. Tua should get more mileage out of short passes of Tyreek Hill, Chase Edmonds, and others, and Jalen Waddle, now he's the number 2 option, with Mike McDaniel designing 49's flavored run game and offensive game plan attacks. He should have more time to throw deep to Hill, Jalen Waddle, and others, with Terron Armstead anchoring the upgraded offensive line. At the very least, Tua should benefit from the advantages Jimmy Garoppolo has enjoyed when he and his supporting cast have been healthy over the past 3 seasons. Garoppolo may be sitting by the curb with a take me sign on the back right now, but the Dolphins would not mind a ball control offense capable of some deep playoff runs led by a still young and affordable quarterback with room to grow. I was a Tagovailoa skeptic in 2021. And I remain one because a skeptic is someone who challenges the evidence, not some hater or naysayer. Despite some of the discouraging splits cited in this article, I'm sanguine about the future, in part because he doesn't fit the profile of a fading prospect with a stat profile full of fluff. If Tua ranked 3rd in yak instead of 3rd from last, it would be a sign that his league average DVOA was a result of his supporting cast. If his RPO data looked like the Steelers' RPO data, it might be a sign that the Dolphins coaches were desperately throwing tactics at the wall. But the Dolphins were better at the RPO than the Chiefs or the Packers, despite the fact that defenses had no reason to fear their deep game or their running game. The numbers suggest that Tagovailoa could be very efficient in a timing-based offense with better game plans and better playmakers, both which of now he has. So Tua truthers have a point, as do Tua skeptics, as it almost always is the case when we slog through the statistical splits. And the Dolphins have done everything imaginable to help Tagovailoa succeed in 2022. If he fails, it will be Teddy Bridgewater time. And if he does something in between success and failure, the Dolphins possess 2 first-round picks in 2023. even a hardcore truther would be able to figure out what happens next. So when they break down the numbers, obviously there's stuff that isn't favorable about Tua. But again, it's a reflection of his environment. You know what I mean? If, like, a lot of his, how many targets did Jalen Waddle get? Right? Over 120 targets last year. And you saw his targets actually increase when Tua came back. And if you look at Waddle was actually put in a lot of short yardage situations. Right? And that's where he was going to. Now, he made the deep throws when they presented themselves. He completed 8 of 14. It's just, you can tell by the way the offense was designed, with the protection, with the lack of playmakers. If you actually see, the thing is, if you actually break it down, Mac Hollins was actually one of his best vertical threats this last season. Mac Hollins, not DVP, not Jalen Waddle. Mac Hollins was actually Tua Tagovailoa's arguably most reliable deep threat. That's not good, people. No matter where you slice it. Right? Like, if you were to watch, listen, if you were to watch all of Tua's deep throws this year, all you're going to see is it's either Parker towards the sideline, back shoulder throw, make the catch, or, Hollins going vertically, or they got, what's his face? Gesicki, running a dig over the middle or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, literally, if you were to watch all of our, even Albert Wilson, you wouldn't even see Albert Wilson going a ton. And when you did early on in the season, Bridgewater and Tua missed him. But you wouldn't even see Albert Wilson going. You would sit there and look at, you got Jalen Waddle and Albert Wilson, two guys that can fly. But why aren't they sending them deep? You would literally see that. So we get better design, better things will happen. I'm telling y'all right now. I got faith. Better things will happen. So I'm telling y'all, we're going to see a big leap this year for sure. And it's just naturally by the weapons, the coaching staff, and the scheme, we're going to see a leap. Now, how big it is, we got to wait and see, really, right? Okay, so I got some things I want to go over here as well, too, guys. Just some meetings that we had going on, and such. So let's get into this stuff, and I want to talk about Austin Jackson, and I want to talk about I got to talk about Austin Jackson. I want to talk about Austin Jackson, and I want to talk about Mike Gesicki. So let's start off with Mike Gesicki. And I don't know if you guys saw Mike Gesicki, but I'm going to take a big pause here. Mike Gesicki looks ripped in the upper body. Like, that man looks jacked. He clearly got the phone call from Kittle and the coaching staff saying, bro, you're going to have to block saying this scheme. I don't know if y'all saw Gesicki at the podium, but whew. So Mike Gesicki has had an eventful offseason between the Miami Dolphins placing the franchise tag on him and his now wife, Haley, making him her new franchise player. Now a married man after his wedding on March 4th. The Dolphins also tied the knot with Gesicki for at least one more season by putting the tight end on the franchise tag 4 days later. Getting tagged is not ideal for NFL players that seek long-term contracts with ample guaranteed money over multiple seasons in the prime of their career, but it does bring Gesicki a hefty payday this offseason of at least $10.9 million, the value of the tag at the tight end position. You're obviously getting an increase in financial purposes and all that kind of stuff, Gesicki said on Wednesday. It's obviously not the goal, the end-all, be-all goal. It's definitely more of a team-friendly than it is player-friendly, so he's letting y'all know. But just giving me more reasons to come back here, continue to work hard, and continue to be motivated, and get back to work to help this team win football games, and hopefully eventually get what I deserve going forward. And I think he's going to under this system, especially if he becomes a competent blocker. With an understanding he was likely to be designated with the franchise tag, Gesicki's focus in the time from the conclusion of Miami season free agency was more so on the wedding and honeymoon than any negotiations. I wasn't even worried about the contract, said Gesicki. I was in Bora Bora on my honeymoon, and it's like a 6-hour time difference. It was 3 a.m. My agent texted me. He's like, hey, they're tagging you. I was like, okay. I had like 100 other texts because I slept through it, rolled over, checked my phone, and knew it happened. Woke up Haley. She was all excited and went back to sleep. Questions remain on if Gesicki will appeal the tight end designation, given that he lined up as a wide receiver, either in the slot or on the boundary, more than he has in an inline tight end role. Remember, he only lined up as a tight end, well under 10%. It was about 8%, I believe. The franchise tag value for receiver is $18.4 million, difference of $7.5 million from the tight end tag. When an appeal of that kind is filed, two sides often meet in the middle in arbitration, meaning Gesicki could get somewhere around $14 million. Gesicki wouldn't delve deep into the situation on Wednesday, but he did offer that any development or lack thereof wouldn't keep him off the field. I mean, I'm definitely playing. I'm here in OTAs. This is obviously optional, so here I am, Gesicki said. I want to do whatever I can to help the team win football games. I'm not really a big controversy guy. I'm trying to be the guy that's I'm not trying to be the guy that's a bad locker room guy or the guy that's bringing the organization down or the guy that's in the headlines for the wrong reasons, which I love. It's very unselfish of Gesicki. You got to give him props. Gesicki also enters the situation under a new offensive coaching staff where run blocking, a noted weakness in his game through his first 4 seasons, may be emphasized in the outside zone scheme. It's definitely a different scheme as to what I played in, but at the end of the day, football is football. The coaches are elite in what they do, and I think they're going to put people in a position to be successful. Gesicki, although noting he and 49ers All-Pro tight end George Kittle are different players, is encouraged by what new coach Mike McDaniel and tight ends coach John Embry were able to do with Kittle in San Francisco. And Gesicki enjoyed his first impression of McDaniel after 3 seasons under Flores and having Adam Gase at the helm in his rookie season. Funny dude. I've had a meeting with him last week and it went well. Just talking about everything Gesicki said. I'm excited to play for him and to work for him and do everything I can to earn his trust. Gesicki is also inspired. I like that. Earn the trust, baby. I love it. Gesicki is also inspired by the prospects of the offense with a revamped offensive line, running game, and playmakers on the outside, headlined by the acquisition of Tyreek Hill. Nonetheless, the offseason move that excited him the most was the re-signing of good friend and fellow tight end Durham Smythe, a moment in which he jokingly ranked right up there with his wedding. I love this side of Gesicki. The willingness, the desire to be a team player, the buy-in. How can you not like it, man? At the end of the day, if it comes down to Debo or him next offseason, it's Debo all day for me. When you got Durham Smythe and when you got at Hunter Long in the mix and Shaheen as well, but very encouraging to see him putting the work in when you look at him physically, but when you hear him talking about it too. I love seeing it. The next thing I want to talk about, I keep trying to warn y'all, they don't listen. Austin Jackson met with the media as well. Now, Jackson has said he's excited for the new staff, sees himself as a tackle. Let's talk about this. So, no Dolphins position group has been under the microscope outside of quarterback in recent years more than the team's offensive line, and that includes Austin Jackson, a 2020 first-round pick who has yet to develop expectations. But with a new offensive-minded head coach, coordinator, and position coach comes somewhat of a blank slate. Dolphins decision makers have remained bullish on Jackson and their young core of linemen, and Jackson had a similar positive outlook Wednesday as the team enters its second week of offseason workouts. I'm excited for what we have in place, Jackson said. Even more excited for the work we're about to start. That's why we're meeting and training together, getting the details down. Jackson called the team's new offense, particularly its zone running scheme, very detailed and one reliant on concepts that we know and study and train. It's actually a lot of fun to do that, he said, because once you get in the actual game, there's a lot of different situations to be ready for. So I think we definitely have our great playbook and concepts that we're installing right now. Jackson said the zone scheme is one that fits his abilities because it's dependent on quickness from offensive linemen to get to spots on the field and hold blocks. See, I told what I've been telling all y'all. And everyone knows I'm not the biggest Austin Jackson fan in the world, but I keep telling y'all, and that right there tells you. And who do you think's told him that? The offensive speed, which has been a constant theme of the Dolphins offense, especially after the trade for Tyreek Hill is something Jackson believes he will be extenuated to, not only with its skill position player, but its offensive line. One thing that we've accentuated, not only with its skill position player, but its offensive line. One thing that we put an emphasis on in this new offense is elite stamina, he said. While Jackson played 3 games at left tackle in 2021 before moving to left guard, he reiterated his belief that he is an NFL caliber tackle. I'm telling you, get ready. With Terran Armstead set to play left tackle and Connor Williams projected at left guard, Jackson will likely find himself competing with Liam Eichenberg at right tackle. And here we go. I played right tackle in high school, played it in college. I actually collegiately started at it. So it's not completely new for me, but at the end of the day, I have to make sure I'm 100% right in my techniques and fundamentals. Oh boy, do you ever, Austin. Because what our offense does, if you get the technique down and use that same technique, it's supposed to be the same at every position. It's really allowing for people to be interchangeable. So first things first, that's what we're locking it in on in April. So, listen, Austin Jackson, I'm telling you right now, I got a feeling, pencil it in. Now, could they draft someone? Sure, they could draft someone. But I'm telling y'all right now, lock it in. I truly think it's going to be Austin Jackson at right tackle. Now, one thing I wanted to show you guys quickly, some prospect updates. A guy you're going to hear on the big board on Sunday when I drop the center big board for y'all. Zach Tom, Wake Forest offensive lineman Zach Tom. He is one of them, as it says here, he is one of the most athletic and versatile blockers in the draft. Will work out privately for the Dolphins. Yesterday, he worked out for us. Now, I'm a fan of this kid. All right. Zach does a lot of good things right, 48 appearances over 4 years at Wake Forest. Played over 3,100 snaps. I know he had a 92.1 pass blocker rating this year from PFF. He's a very stout guy. He posted a 4.940 at the combine. He posted a 7.323 cone, a 4.47 20-yard shuttle. I mean, he was an offensive tackle. He's played left tackle. He's played center. He does a lot of good things well. He's perfect for a zone run scheme. So, interesting. I'll break him down more on Sunday for y'all because I really do like the prospect, but he would be perfect for his own running scheme. So they brought him in, taking a look at him. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. So I'm here for it, baby. I want everyone to know I'm here for it. I am here for it. Next up here, interesting one for y'all. One of the guys who blew up the combine they brought in. Tyquan Thornton came in. He had that 4.28 official 40 time. And he's got the Dolphins workout coming up. Again, this guy, smooth athlete, good athlete, speed is his forte. So explosive in and out of his breaks. Doesn't lose a step too. Like his acceleration, it's ridiculous. And like he can stop on a dime and accelerate back to what he was. It's unbelievable. And I know he's pretty. I know he's slim, but he's got good length to him, kind of like what you saw from Devontae Smith last year. So I'm a fan of it. I mean, and it shows even more. He mainly played the outside, right? So when you go back and you watch his tape at Baylor, he played mainly the outside. So it shows the speed they want and even the even on the boundaries, even on the perimeters in this offense. If they're looking at a guy 4.28, Jesus. So crazy. I guess like it says in the last line, offense is checking out that speed in person. That's for sure. That is for sure. Another interesting thing I wanted to show you guys. It's kind of in regards to what happened yesterday on ESPN. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was interesting on Get Up, and I'll show you exactly what was said about it here on Get Up. So shout out to Barry Jackson, always doing great work. It's from Barry Jackson's article yesterday, and so it says this week, ESPN host Mike Greenberg asked the latest variation of the question he routinely poses about the NFL's 2020 quarterback draft class, a group including Tua, Burrow, Herbert, Hurts. But this time the answers carried more weight because an active 7-time Pro Bowl player was involved in the discussion. Cameron Jordan, the state's defensive end and member of the NFL's 2010 All-Decade team, was asked which of the third-year quarterbacks is ready to take the biggest jump. Cameron Jordan said it's Tua Tagovailoa because of the impression he left in Miami's Monday night victory against the Saints. See, even against a depleted team, Tua left an impression. After playing Tua, it's Tua because he has more room to grow. He's poised. He doesn't get rattled. After playing Justin Herbert, you can hit Justin. He gets a little rattled after you start sticking it to him early. Tua stays calm. He has that demeanor about him. He's been hurt more, so he has much more room to grow. ESPN's Bart Scott, the former NFL linebacker, answered the question this way. It has to be Tua. He's the one with the lowest floor. He has the most ground to catch up. Herbert has already been a Pro Bowler. Burrow is a top 5 quarterback already. But Scott said if Tagovailoa doesn't play well this season, he'll be Sam Darnold looking for a job and being a backup. He can't be going down with these check down Charlie. He's got to push the ball down the field more. And then the NFL Network tackled this question involving the Dolphins. Are the Patriots or Dolphins the bigger threat to the Bills in the AFC East? Scott Pioli, a 2-time winner of the Sporting News NFL Executive of the Year award, said it's the Dolphins and cited the element of mystery with McDaniel and how Miami can use that to its advantage. They had a solid core of players before, said Pioli. It was a good enough team to beat the Patriots. They also added a head coach who's really going to make a difference. The fact of the unknown and how they're going to be coached and what they're going to do is going to be a bit of the factor. New players all fit the system, scheme, and culture that McDaniel wants, the type of team he wants. This is a team that's going to give the Bills a real run. I'm telling y'all, 5-1 in our division. Here we go. NFL Network's Willie McGinnis, the former Patriots standout, he said this: you can bring in a collection of talent, it really doesn't mean anything, he said. But they brought in players who can make a difference right now. And Tyreek Hill, how they upgraded the running back with Chase Edmonds and Armstead, they brought in so much talent to win right now. The defense is solid. They're going to be more physical than they were last year. You look at what they did in San Francisco. Physical, run the ball, a lot of misdirection, a lot of different formations offensively, short of intermediate, get to a going. Then you could probably strike down the field. They added a fullback. That means they're going to run the football. So, I mean, even former Patriots analysts are saying we're the team that's going to give the Bills a run for the money. Check your pulse, baby. How does that not get y'all hyped? All right. And Cameron Jordan holds the most weight. He's played against these guys. He's been in the NFL right now. And when he's sitting there saying that, man, I take that to the bank. Take what Cameron Jordan says over what I or anyone else on any of these platforms say. All right. Another thing from Barry Jackson today that I wanted to show you guys. A 6-pack of Miami Dolphin notes on a Thursday. The Dolphins still open at another running back. This week brought LSU's Tyrion Davis-Price to team headquarters to meet with the coaches and management, according to LSU sources familiar with the schedule. Davis-Price ran 211 times for 1,000 yards 1,003 yards last season, a 4.8 average, and has 4.6 career average. He hadn't had the chance to do a lot in the passing game and closed his career with 28 receptions for 185 yards. Here's how Lance Zierlein from NFL.com assessed the 6'1", 232-pounder. Big athletic back, offering an enticing blend of size, explosiveness to go with a SEC pedigree. He didn't even make my top 20. He's an enigmatic back featuring urgency, indecisiveness, physicality, and finesse on any given carry. He got much better as the season progressed and clearly finds a rhythm when given volume carries. Scouts say that staying motivated will be a major factor in future success. His athletic ability and hammerhead finishes will help him create yardage. He's a size and upside worthy of consideration in the middle rounds. The Dolphins have also shown interest in the University of Houston defensive end tackle Logan Hall, who had 47 tackles and 6 sacks last season. Per a Cougar source, Miami sent assistant coach and assistant general manager Marvin Allen to watch him at his pro day. They also spent an hour meeting with Hall the night before. Zierlein said he's hardworking 2-year starter with a projectable frame and developmental traits whose best potential fit could be in the eye of the beholder. Hall played defensive tackle in college. His playing style and physical profile are better suited for a defensive end in a 3-4 alignment. He's segmented and a little gradual in his attack, but flashes violent hands in the forward charge as an interior rusher. Improvement lies ahead for Hall, but he needs a scheme fit and extended runway as a rotational lineman. The Dolphins play a 4-3 defense, but use 4-3 at times. How is the Dolphins defense going to change without Brian Flores here? Not much from linebacker Landon Roberts' perspective. Josh Boyer remains defensive coordinator. I think Josh is going to do a great job and do what he's been doing since he took over the last 2 years. Roberts was quintessential Flores guy, but general manager Chris Greer and Boyer and coach Mike McDaniel valued him, wanted to keep him after parting ways with Flores. Roberts pressured McDaniel. I think he's his own guy. We had conversations. It's been great. My job is to make sure that I lead the defense and the team in the right direction. What way that he wants me to do that, that's the way I'm going to do it because that's my head coach. The Dolphins sent an official to do a private workout with Western Kentucky defensive end D'Angelo Malone. Now y'all know why I wanted to potentially do edge. The Senior Bowl MVP for the American team and a 2-time All-Conference USA performer. He had 32.5 sacks in 5 seasons, including 8 last season. He also forced 8 fumbles, 4 of which came last season. He had 94 tackles, including 17.5 for a loss in 2021. Miami holds him in high regard. Malone's actually a really good sleeper. That's what I'll say. I've watched some of his film. He's pretty good. Zierlein assessed him this way on NFL.com. Super Senior decided to come back for another season to put more film for general managers to think about. Why rebuild? His why rebuild bellies his toughness and play strength at the point of attack. He's got quick feet, a flexible frame, an unusually successful recovery balance to slink into playmaking positions in the run game. His rush is unorthodox and unpredictable, but his burst to close and fluidity inside the pocket are valuable. In finishing, his slender frame will get knocked and he needs to craft a more repeatable rush, but he's competitive and savvy. Malone could challenge for future starting job as a 4-3-4 outside linebacker. So it goes off with Cameron Good. And Gesicki, he talked about Tyreek Hill. He said, love having more playmakers on the field. So to bring again a guy that's one of, if not the best at what he does in the league, it's only going to help everyone in this offense. It's going to help our run game. It's going to help our pass game. It's going to help Tua Tagovailoa. It's going to help me. It's going to help Jalen. It's going to help everybody. So I'm super excited about the acquisition. And Gesicki said he has studied tape of how the 49ers use tight ends. Not only did McDaniel come over to the Dolphins from the 49ers, but so did, obviously, John Embry. It's definitely a different scheme as to what we've played in, but football is football. So the thing that he's best at in this league, I think out of probably anybody, is yards after the catch. Gesicki said a Kittle. He gets the ball and he runs angry and he runs people over. He stiffs arms. He runs by people. So I think having Coach Embry here, they worked together and did a very good job together. He was able to help in a lot of aspects, and obviously George is the player he is now. So I'm happy to have a Coach Embry here, and it's definitely some good tape to watch. Gesicki noted this week that the last 2 years we've been the odd team out, the last team out at the end of the regular season in terms of playoff. So the focus is doing whatever it takes to go out there and win some games, win a playoff game, and get back out there and get this city going in the right direction. I'm telling you, man, as long as he's committed, as long as he puts the work in, Gesicki is going to he's going to become a competent blocker. And if he becomes a competent blocker, look out. And if he becomes a competent route runner too, they're going to crisp him out at that. You can guarantee. Look out. Finally, guys, PFF put an interesting article out. They actually ranked the best 25 receivers in football from 2021. Jalen Waddle, he made the list at 18. Waddle took off after a subpar first month as the 2021 sixth overall pick, was one of the 10th highest graded wide receivers in the NFL from week 6 on. His grade on targets thrown less than 9 yards downfield ranked 5th best in the 2021 regular season, and there's still a lot of untapped potential with the speedster, specifically on deep balls, as he caught only 4 passes targeted 20 or more yards downfield. I think that's a little low. I think he was better than Michael Pittman. I think I don't know. That's a little low, but number 8 was Tyreek Hill. He went away from his deep threat ways a bit in 2021. Instead, was a high quality possession receiver for quarterback Patrick Mahomes. He had a high volume of targets and consistently moved the chains. His 75 first downs plus touchdowns tied for the 3rd amongst wide receivers in the regular season. Hill's average depth of target did dip to 11 yards, which is the lowest since his rookie campaign. He hauled in 74 passes, less than 9 yards downfield, 22 more than any other season of his career, and the 6th most amongst wide receivers. The speedster is no longer just a deep threat. And in case you guys were wondering, Stephon Diggs 7, Lamb 6, Chase was 5, Jefferson was 4, Debo was 3, Cooper was 2, Devontae was. How is Cooper Kupp not 1? Let's stop with this right now. Come on, man. And Tyreek Hill, come on, man. I'm taking Tyreek over CD last year and Stephon Diggs. Let's stop. And Jalen Waddle was top 10 last year. Let's stop again right now. But, they got him ranked 8th and 18th. Your top two receivers. That's why no one takes you seriously, PFF. Guys, here's the deal. I am going to be back on Sunday. We are going to go over all the news and notes that develop up from, here on out. And we are going to go over the top 10 centers of this draft. Actually, there is no 15 on this. I don't like this class at all. Once you get out of the top 5, top 6, not a fan. Not a fan of this class. So we'll talk about this class. Look for me. I might be back tomorrow. If there's stuff to go over, I'll be back. I know it's Good Friday. And I know Fridays aren't really ever it's the end of the week. People want to unwind. They want to go do their thing with their family, their friends. So that's why I moved the big board to Sunday. We'll vibe it out. I'll either be back tomorrow, but I'll be definitely back Sunday. So be on the lookout for me. Guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Help me with my friend Algorithm. So just smash that like button. Show me some love, baby. Like I said, look out for me. I'll be back either tomorrow night or I'll definitely be back on Sunday. But Sunday, either way, good chance I'm back tomorrow night. There is a good chance I'm back tomorrow night for even just an hour for you guys. Maybe I'll open it up. I haven't had y'all guys on for quite some time. So we'll see how it goes. Play it by ear, just like Tua does to all of his music when he's on the ukulele. Absolutely love it. Yeah, Martino, we're going to be drafting a center. So I'll be dropping that on Sunday for y'all, informing y'all. Really, the top 5, top 6 are the only guys I really like in this class. So you'll get to see what I mean. So I appreciate each and every one of you coming through. Love each and every one of you. As always, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. Everyone out there, stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. I will see all of y'all on the next one. Fins up, baby.